Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sometimes when you hear certain stories, it's almost with disbelief. You cannot believe that this would happen. I remember in the days gone by when young boys and girls used to play innocently games. It was a lot of team spirit. We might have had one or two individuals that might be mean-spirited, one or two, not too many, where bullying was something, a rare phenomena in our communities, a rare phenomena in our schools, a rare phenomena in the playing fields. But today, bullying has become almost a culture in different places and even in our schools. You get teachers raising their hands, say, what can I do? You got children themselves who feel helpless. And some of them complain that when I do speak to my father and mother about it, they scoff at me. They tell me I'm a sissy. Therefore, we want to speak about this topic. It's sensitive, but a topic that needs to be discussed. Our aim is not only to raise issues, but hopefully to share solutions. Because the next time your son comes crying to you, never say, big boys do not cry. And Tandu, I know we are speaking about a big subject. You're a young man. And when the topic bullying comes to mind, what do you understand by bullying?
Firstly, just deliberate disregard for a person's humanity, their feelings, and what they think. So a bully will be someone who's gonna purposely hurt someone without really caring about what that person thinks of what is happening or what they feel about that incident.
Yeah. So what you are saying, Ntando, is a person who does it deliberately and consciously.
Yes.
Right. Now, Abdul, alhamdulillah, I know you are involved with lots of young people, you're able to engage with them and projects, and I know you have done workshops, bullying also. I mean, what's your take on bullying?
I think Islam encapsulates it perfectly. When we greet someone, we say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It means sending peace, blessings, and mercy on you. Now, bullying is the opposite of that. When we meet someone, and our ultimatum is not peace, is war, is when we deliberately hurt them. There's no peace in that communication. There's no mercy, there's hatred, there's wrath. And the blessings are ungratitude and ungrateful. And that deliberate hurtful feeling that we impose on them by our superior power, our superior force, it can happen anywhere. It also can be, to people that are, and when it happens to people from different color, class. It is to everyone that, we have a different status. And he believes that he has this superior power.
Okay, we'll come to that detail, right? Anis, on your part, I mean, what do you understand by bullying?
Well, when we look at the definition of bullying, it's using superior power or influence to intimidate someone or force them to do something. So that shows us that bullies like to be superior. The minute they feel inferiority, that's when they step up. They decide, no, I need to do this or do that to feel more superior. And that's the main reason why bullies are bullies, to feel they're superior.
Okay, there is a sense of superiority.
Yeah.
But are they superior? That's a question to be asked. Now, they want to feel superior. So are you saying they really are inferior, but bullying is a mask, as it were?
I think it's mainly an inferiority complex. It's not that they are inferior, but they believe they are inferior. Maybe there's environments where they are raised where they feel inferior to the people around them. So as Anis said, they always have to show their superiority. And when that inferiority arrives in them, even if it's a subtle thing, like someone looking down at them just because they're taller, or something very, something very petty or something very small, they feel like they have to do something. Otherwise, they will have to look within themselves to see why they feel they're inferior.
Now you make not that other points were not interesting. You raise a very interesting point in terms of the sense of inferiority, and this is a mask. Abdul, when you look at a person who bullies, Let us create a scenario.
Okay.
You are a bully in school. The children are intimidated. Okay? Then you get another student who comes, and he seems very popular, the other student. Not because he's a bully, perhaps he might have a flair in sports, likable, he's articulate. What does it do to the mindset of the bully when this happens, when people are gravitating towards the other person?
You see, Idris, it is when a bully firstly is someone who wants to be acknowledged. And the person who has been bullied, he has a low self-esteem, and what Ntando says is his past experience, his past behavior patterns, his past, it starts from his home when he wasn't encouraged, and he developed that low self-esteem, that low self-confidence. And that low self-confidence, he goes into schools, and where he's in an environment when someone labels him, name call him, and he feels that he's from a different gender, a different class, a different creed, a different caste, a different personnel, he may look differently, and someone used that against him, it drops his morale, it drops his self-esteem, and then suddenly, when someone says you're stupid, you're ugly, he believes that. And believing that feeling, that emotion, believing that expression that someone makes, that scar you leave on yourself, and then if you walk with it, carry it, embrace it, you become that.
Yeah, but I take what you are saying, it makes a lot of sense. But I'm talking about a specific scenario, a scenario of another person that other people are gravitating towards him. What will go through his mind? Would it make him a bigger bully? Would it emphasize his
Absolutely.
insecurity?
You're talking of the bully, I was talking probably of the person who's been bullied. And the person that is bullying, he needs acknowledgement. You know, when someone says, you're stupid, and the others laugh with him, he feels that acknowledgement is what he lacks that self-esteem, that self-confidence. So he needs the acknowledgement from other people's support. And that rallying around encouraging him to be a bigger bully. And I'm sure, Anis, you experienced that at Molo Africa, where people are like that, and in that way where you get that.
100%. Especially at Molo Africa, there were a lot of different stereotypes. We had a lot of large-sized boys, and Tando can agree with me on this. We had a boy named Paul as well, very large in size. A lot of people looked up to Paul. Paul never looked down on people. Paul was never a bully. Paul knew he had his skill, and that was fine with him. He felt he was superior, so he never had to pick on anyone else to make them feel inferior, to make him feel superior.
Yeah. No, okay, you continue.
And I feel that's the main reason why bullies do what they do, is to make other people feel inferior so that they can eventually feel their superiority. Okay.
So, I mean, there is a kind of sadness about it, in a sense that whilst we are antagonistic towards bullies, but they are crying out for help, is it not? And we need to look at it, We need to look at it, what is it that makes a person a bully? What are the contributing factors? You spoke about some trauma, or whatever it is. Let's look at it from that perspective. And I think it's very, very important to understand that, bullies are people who are also human. They put on this mask, and unbeknown to many of us, some of them might be crying themselves to sleep. Absolutely. Because they realize what they're doing is wrong. So, my beloved brothers and sisters, it is my earnest prayer and hope that your son or daughter is not a bully, neither they are being bullied. And we want to explore this topic further immediately after this break, and don't go away.
Time is now. Time is now.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. The mind is an incredible thing. When you have a fertile imagination, sometimes, you relive some of the experiences. And I recall there was an incident when I was a student. I was this very passive kind of guy, You can make out a loving kind of person, not aggressive, very, very emotional. And I remember that one day at school, it was a Friday, and perhaps in grade 10, like you, Anis, grade 10, right? And this one person bumped into me, So I nearly died, to be honest with you. So, and then he said to me, if you got guts, you'll see me tonight.
Sure.
At the cinema. Because in Poshepson, my hometown, it was almost like a tradition, like a ritual. People used to go, you know. There was a cafe next door. And well, I was frightened, I must tell you. But a little late in the day, I completely forgot about it. And one of my rituals was to go to this cafe, Wali's Cafe, you know, and diagonally opposite our home. And lo and behold,
He's there.
he's waiting for me. He's waiting for me. Lo and behold, he's waiting for me. I can tell you, I nearly died. And so anyway, he said to me, where are you going to go now? You know, perhaps it was an affront that I came there in the first place. And well, I was very fortunate that a group of my friends that had muscles touching the ceiling, number of them just happened to come there at that time. It was fortuitous they were there. And they said, Idris, is anyone troubling you? When I saw them, I got excited. I said, who can trouble me? No one can handle me. I said, what's your problem, brother? You come to see me? I became like aggressive, you
Awesome.
know. Anyway, that incident, he apologized and he went away. Anyway, I just thought I'll share that.
Awesome.
Anyway, right. Now, Tando, this is a critical thing. You know, when you speak about bullying, you spoke about aggression, you spoke about a sense of superiority. And are there different kinds of bullying?
There are many kinds of bullying. I mean, we all know verbal bullying when you tease someone. We know physical bullying. But there are others. You know now about cyberbullying using social media and other social platforms to tease someone or bully them in that area. You know, you also got social bullying. But this is not like cyberbullying because it's more or less making someone a social outcast. So this is the bullying that's like performed by a group of people or a group of a community where they ostracize someone and make someone feel like they're not part of the group. So there's many types of bullying. You find bullying in school, in the workplace, all over the place.
Yeah, you know, it's very interesting that you share the different kinds of bullying. Now, I want to ask this question. Now, does bullying have the same impact on the victim? Does it have the same impact on the victim? And I ask the question for a purpose. If you have a high self-esteem, and someone bullies you, not necessarily in aggression, but the other ways, you know, making you an outcast, you know, even rumor mongering, all of these kinds of things. Does it have the same impact on two individuals?
Absolutely, it has an impact on both. You know, just on that, Idris, and I think it's a good point you bring in. It's, you know, when someone bullies you, the candle that you light doesn't glow brighter when you're switching someone else's candle off. It doesn't help that this is, you're going to shine better, you're going to be better. And by saying that, Idris, it is that the people that we bully and the person that is bullying people, he himself, when he goes back, he feels probably lack of self-esteem, lack of confidence, lack of all of this, and feeling that his gratification, his acceptance is by hurting someone, is by acknowledging, you know, taking advantage of someone because he feels, and it doesn't matter, you think you have a status, you can force it on someone. You think you have, you come from a different gender, a different class, you can attack someone, and it's not that. You know, what's hurtful is that, and what Tando spoke about is verbal bullying. You know, the person doesn't realize the impact of the bullying because the tongue, and I want to talk of verbal bullying, the tongue that you speak has no bones, but the mark that you leave on a person by those words can destroy the person's heart. It can affect the person's heart. It can leave him with a lasting impression, and that is the impact of a person that is the victim, and the victor is completely traumatized by it.
Yeah, you see, the point that I'm alluding to is that you have two individuals. An individual that has low self-esteem, who himself can be a victim of a bully, then another person with high self-esteem. And I find that the person with high self-esteem has greater coping skills. He's not diminished by the bully in terms of making him an outcast because he likes himself, he's happy with himself, he's also interdependent. But when a person got low self-esteem, I mean, it almost destroys him forever. Anis, I mean, in terms, what's your take on this? You know?
I agree 100% with that. You see, everyone knows physical bullying as hitting, punching, and verbal bullying is much higher. It affects someone much higher than physical bullying does. Physical bullying is usually one fight and it's over. With verbal bullying, it's continuous teasing of the person, breaking down their self-esteem piece by piece. And once again, we go to the high self-esteem and the low self-esteem. A person with a high self-esteem will let it brush off their back. They won't care about what the person's saying. But the person with a low self-esteem will think about it. He'll go home later. He'll cry himself to sleep thinking about what the bully said, breaking his self-esteem down piece by piece until he can't face anyone in the near future.
You know, you can commit suicide by that. That's the impact of that, Idris.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we usually do is that if you have a group of friends, right, and you like to tease each other, it's like a joking thing. But then sometimes someone with a low self-esteem can take it personally. Someone with a high self-esteem, they know it's a joke and they know that, you know, that's not what they really mean. But someone with a low self-esteem, they can take that to heart and they can consider even that bullying, even though someone may feel like they're joking. So sometimes bullies don't know that they're actually bullying someone, even though they feel like it's just a joke.
Yeah. You know, it's a very, I think some very critical points. The one is when a person does it consciously because of his own insecurity. The moment he sees someone, so there's my another victim, and it sort of boosts his ego. And then you find that, and it's a very important thing that you're speaking about. In the end, you know, the happy person is that individual that is able to have dynamic relationships. That in his, if you want to leave a legacy behind, is making sure you hurt no one, you uplift people, that you understand that every person is a unique being. You know, in terms of the point that Ntando raised now about joking, you know, therefore it is said that when you joke, rather it will be self, you know, a joke about self-imprecation, you know what I mean, rather than hurting someone else, right?
It leaves a scar. You know, the joke, it's like name calling. It leaves a scar on people.
I mean, the word I'm looking for is self-deprecation. Sorry,
Is
you know, you'd rather be self-deprecation than hurting someone else.
Absolutely. And you know, that impact, you know, if only you know, Idris, I was, you know, like self-exclusion. There was a stage in my life where I was playing cricket and I failed on a big platform. And it was a big lesson I learned. But what tormented me, I think, at some stage is when you walk past people and they know you fail and you hear them whisper. That words that they say has such a profound impact. And you go home and you feel sad, you feel disappointed in yourself, and you believe that I wasn't worthy. And it's those, people don't realize that even if you're in a group, you can be laughing at someone and he acknowledges, like, you know, a lady, if you take her and in school, 9 people can say you look beautiful, and 1 person can say you look ugly or you look fat. And that is the reminder that stays, and that scar remains in them.
Okay, thanks for that, Abdul. Anis, in terms of the people that you interact with, how important is it to have good friends? Because good friends, you know, when you talk to them, revealing is healing. When you share with them, they are almost like your parents away from home. How important is that?
I feel having the right company is key, because that's basically what's going to pull you through your schooling career. And if you constantly have company that's breaking you down or pulling you out on the things that you've done wrong instead of picking you up on the things that you've done right, that's immediately going to break down your self-esteem, and it's not going to help you in the near future, because where you're going to learn from, where you're going to build, if there's no positive advice coming towards you, only negatives.
You know, my beloved parents, brothers, teachers, educators, I know the responsibility of bringing up children in the 21st century can be quite daunting. As teachers, sometimes you say your plate is full. But the critical thing is this: let us be more vigilant, let us observe, and let us create a culture in our schools that for that bully, you give him the attention he deserves, help him, connect with him. And once you connect with him, I'm sure he would even break down, become quite emotional. Perhaps he might be suffering from post-traumatic stress. And to the other young person who is there, who is diligent, he comes there to do his work at school, He may not have the muscles, as it were, but he's got the muscle of the mind. He too is a critical part of the school environment. Let us create a culture of warmth. So the next time your son or daughter tells you, "Daddy, I'm in pain," respond with empathy. Do not judge them or prejudge them.
Time is now. Time is now.
Assalamu alaikum, my beloved brothers and sisters. What I want to talk about now in this particular segment is if you are a victim, say someone is bullying you, what should you do?
If someone is bullying you and you're not sure of what to do, firstly, it depends on where it's happening. If it's happening at school, you must firstly contact your authorities, your teacher, your principal, whoever's in the head of that department. You have to talk to them. If not, if it's in the workplace, you can talk to your manager or your boss or anything, but talk to someone who is probably in authority in that place that you're in, because it gives them, they have the power to at least do something about it. And if it persists, confront that bully. I know it may seem difficult at first, but if you can confront that person and tell them that what they're doing is wrong, it doesn't matter what their reaction is, they'll at least know that you are not going to stand for it anymore and that you're going to stand up for yourself.
Yeah, so I think it's two fundamental points you raise, that at school you speak to the authorities.
Yes.
The other one, you are saying you need to be assertive.
Yes.
And that's important. Okay, Abdul, anything else that a person that is a victim of bullying should
Yes,
do?
you could do. One is, I like what Ntando says about standing up. And we all are worthy, and we all are creation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created with power. So stand up firstly, and I like that you stand up. And yes, if sometimes someone is stronger than you, bigger than you, and somehow being forceful on you and getting his way with you, go to the authorities. Go to people who are in that space that can help you. Friends that like the story you shared earlier, that when you saw your friends, you can stand up. And also, don't be afraid. Talk to your parents. Tell them, tell them what's happening. And that's the one way of doing it. And the opposite side of that is, as parents, as teachers, also become aware of the different means and characters of your children and the kids around you. And if you see that low self-esteem, acknowledge it. So become aware also, not just sharing it, but also as a parent, become aware of your kids.
Okay, Anis, okay, you want to say something?
Just adding on to that, I personally feel we always hear the saying, never fight fire with fire. And by you giving in and standing up to the bully, that's exactly what he wants. He wants you to try and stand up to him so that he can show you down again. That's why I feel people should follow 3 steps. The first is speak to their parents, ask their input, what they should do for further. And the second thing is always speak if it's happening at school. Always go to your teachers, your principals, get their input first. Never always first interact with the bully. And thirdly, involve the community. Always try to get input wherever you can. Yeah. Always.
You see the point that you make about fire with fire. They like that kind of aggression because they want to show that they are macho. You know what I mean? And it's a very important thing. I'll tell you, this was quite fascinating. Many, many years ago, I went for a workshop conducted by some guys from America. I think these schools were called bully-free schools kind of situation. So they gave us a list of words. They say, identify that one word that was used on that particular child who committed suicide as a last straw. It wasn't a word that was perhaps so negative. We looked at those harsh words. You know what word it was? Lanky. Just lanky. That was the culmination of things when the child could not take it anymore. Someone said, "Hey, you're such a lanky kid." And the child committed suicide. And it's a very important thing that we need to speak about, right? We speak about what the person should do, right? Now, what about the other aspect? Now, you spoke about firstly speaking to the authorities. What if the authorities are not responsive or they ignore it, or they say to you, you know what, why are you complaining? What should you do at school? That's important, because this is a message we need to give to educators, that they're in charge of the children. As far as the parents are concerned, you're creating a safe environment for them. What should you do next, Ntando?
In terms of the teacher and the principal not responding, as a child, then you have to consult with your parents, you know. I mean, if the parents are unresponsive, that's usually because they think that, okay, you're being a little boy, you're being a sissy and things like that. And you need to be able to contact someone like a family member, like an aunt or an uncle, or someone who can understand your situation, so that you can go with that person to a teacher and a principal and get them to listen, because there's a lot that you can't do when the principal and the teacher they ignore you, because in that environment you continue to be bullied because the teachers and the principal look the other way.
Yes, wait one moment. So you make a very interesting point. From what you are saying, there is definitely someone,
Absolutely.
someone that can stand up for you, someone that has an authority, someone that can take the matter up for you at the school level. Now, this is an important thing, because a person watching the program may either be a bully or is being bullied. So what we are saying to you, if you are the bully, we are not here to chastise you, but it's quite clear that you're crying out for help. To the person who's being bullied, it's not the end of your life. This is a phase sometimes we go through, and all of us might have been bullied sometime or the other. So what is important, as educators, you have a responsibility. As parents, you have a responsibility. As community people, you have a responsibility. And what we are saying essentially, and this is important, Abdul, you are about to come in.
You know, Idris, I think, you know, when someone is being bullied and someone, like Ntando say, reach out. Reach out to people, and the key is, if people are not listening to you, you know, go to your friend. And the only reason they're not listening to you, or maybe sometimes, and I don't look at it from the other point of view, is the person that's been bullied sometimes has fear. He's scared to speak out, because he's worried what his peers are going to say. He's worried what people are going to say around him. So he holds his voice. And that's why it's twofold. One is share, and if those who can't share, those who are your friends, and people who are watching, those who are your friends, teachers who know the kids, and parents who know your kids, if you see a different behavior pattern, immediately know the signs. Know that they are emotionally different. They're eating less. They're sitting in their room. They're being quiet. And all those allows you to realize that there's something wrong with your child. And then, if they not, at least you as a parent stand up for them and support them.
Okay, you spoke about some of the signs, but what I want to end this segment off with the whole concept now of the virtual world, the cyber world. What do you understand by cyberbullying?
Mainly using social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and other platforms to either troll someone, meaning that you're just causing them trouble, you're, you know, kind of cyber stalking them and always following them around in the cyber world, or you're making inflammatory comments about them, you're lying about them, you're spreading rumors about them. And that kind of bullying is very difficult to trace, because usually someone will use a pseudonym or they'll use a fake account to be able to do that. And right now it's wreaking havoc because it's happening almost everywhere.
Yeah. Anis, yes?
Just adding on to Ntando's point there, sure, cyberbullying was not a major thing back in the day, because as times have passed, it's become easier and easier to cyberbully. I mean, in today's Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook, we have a section called the comment section, where you can comment whatever you feel like on a person's post. And basically all cyberbullies have to do is go to that comment section, type in a rude or mean thing, and just post it for the world to see. All of the followers can see whatever they want, post anything.
It's that digital way where you can actually sit behind your phone as a coward, and you actually send messages from a way that people can't see you. And I think that is so selfish for human beings, and to do that, you actually, you got to, what is your self-esteem to do something like that? Behind a screen, you can send a message, but you can't even interact with people on the face. And that's a challenge. I think that is where I see cyberbullying. It's hiding behind a screen.
Yes, my beloved brothers and sisters, it's quite clear that the phenomena of bullying is a very serious phenomena. It is ubiquitous, it's everywhere, it is pervasive. And inshallah, in the last segment, we're going to speak about some coping skills, what role parents can play in developing, as it were, antidotes, some qualities in the children, so that they themselves rather can stand up for what they believe in, and they have some recourse. And I have no doubt that you want your child to be someone can unleash his potential. You want no one to sabotage his or her life. I'll be back immediately after this break.
Time is now. Time is now.
Assalamu alaikum. You know, guys, the topic is a sensitive topic, but it's a topic that's everywhere.
Absolutely.
It is invisible. It is visible. Now, what advice do you have, to both a bully and to a person being bullied? What advice do you have for them?
To a person who is a bully, think about why you do what you do. If you're doing it to get acknowledgement, seek other ways to get acknowledgement. You can get acknowledgement from your parents by doing something or showing your love for other people. And you can take that sadness or that anger and put it into something that's productive. Take that anger of a previous childhood, or maybe do music or do something that suits you so that you can be able to live a healthy life and not have to bully people to feel better. And to someone who is being bullied, the most important thing for them is to be able to know that the bully is not what makes them who they are, that they can find who they are outside of the bully, and that the bully is being bullied themselves. That bully is in the same position they're in. It's just that they're throwing their emotions onto the person who is being bullied. So as a person who's being bullied, understand that the bully is not really bullying you. They're just trying to escape from their problems, and they found you as a source of escape. So you should be able to either confront them or to be able to help them to become a better person, maybe even befriend them. Maybe that's what they want. Because I've noticed that many times people who bully me actually wanted to be my friends. And when I befriended them, they stayed my friends for a very long time.
No, it's a very good point. I think it also reflects, your precocious mind, a sense of maturity, and your understanding that bullies do whatever they do, and because they also want affirmation. And when people cow down to them, it's me, I'm in control, I'm in charge, it boosts, as it were, their self-esteem,
Yes.
for whatever way, right? Abdul, in terms of, this is important, what advice you have for a bully and a person being bullied?
The one who has been bullied, our Prophet ﷺ teaches us a beautiful dua when we wake up in the morning. Allahumma anta hassanta khalqi fahassin khuluqi. That Allah, you affirm yourself. Affirm that Allah, as you make my character beautifully from the outside, make my character internally. So that affirmations, use affirmations. And remember that if you're being bullied, let your smile change the world. Don't let the world change your smile by the way they treat you, by the way they say to you, the things they do to you. You are worthy, you are awesome, you are incredible. And if people are telling you anything derogatory to that, or telling you something that is not in a positive way, turn it around. If they're saying you're ugly, tell yourself I am beautiful. If they say you're stupid, affirm yourself that you are incredible, you are brilliant. So say the opposite, use affirmations. And in that way, Idris, it helps change their mindset. It's that mindset of the past experiences that if we change it, from that moment we can change our lives and inshallah inspire you to lead a better life.
Anis?
Coming down to the bully, you see, a bully often does what he does to gain respect. But what he doesn't understand is if he takes a step back, looking at his actions, looking at his consequences, are the people respecting him or are the people fearing him? And once he takes a step back and looks at that, I'm sure he'll be able to change his life accordingly. And then looking at the one that's being bullied, you need to understand that the only reason you're being bullied is because the bully thinks that you are more superior to him than him in a way that he can understand, but you cannot understand yet. And you need to take that and build yourself with it and not break yourself down because of what he's doing to you. Rather build yourself up until he realizes there's nothing that I'm going to be able to do to this boy. I might as well leave him and go to somebody else. And from there you can start building yourself and learn from there.
You know, for me, it is somewhat ironical that the person who bullies is often as a result of how he's been brought up as a child. And the person being bullied is also a similar thing. Now, and I think it's important that parents need to understand, and my heart goes out to them. I'm not here to upbraid them or whatever, or chastise them. Allah make it easy for you. What advice do you have for parents? What kind of qualities should they imbibe in the children, develop in them, so they do not bully, neither do they allow themselves to be bullied? I know it's quite a difficult thing, but we are here because you all impress me, you know, with your, your articulation of ideas. Tadi?
The first thing as a parent is to realize that you need to build values within the child. If it's a value of independence and a value of high self-esteem or a value of other people, that person is very unlikely to become a bully because they don't need other people's approval to become who they're meant to be. And for the person being bullied, confidence is very important because bullies can smell people who are not confident. They can see it. It's very visible to them because they are not confident themselves. So it's easy to spot someone who shares that with them. So be confident in yourself. Be confident in what you can do. And also independence. Bullies and the people who are being bullied are very similar to one another. They actually need to learn the same amount of skills, the same values, so that they don't get bullied and they don't bully other people, because respect goes both ways. If you lack respect for yourself, you either become the bully or the one who is bullied. But if you learn that you need to respect yourself, regardless of what other people think about you, you have that respect because you respect yourself, and eventually other people will respect you.
I think, you raise a number of critical points. I think the idea of self-respect is critical, isn't it? It's about, when you respect yourself, you'll automatically respect other people because you become acutely aware of feelings.
Absolutely.
Abdul?
Idris, I like what Ntandu speaks about values, respect. With respect, how do you get the respect? We have an example of our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and if we can be that example as parents, firstly, that alone is a reflection of character, of akhlaq. If we as parents adopt that, which is already there for us, and then when we are with our kids, I think show empathy. Like if I'm looking at Tando now, I look at him in the eye as a child, so is that eye contact that we have. And touch him, hug him, show that compassion that you love him. And when we as parents notice our kids, it is that impact that you can make that can change your life. And to those bullies, I challenge you. Yes, I challenge you. I ask you that you know that you are bullied. Today, those people that you are bullying, ask them for forgiveness. And that is, if you're listening, and that would be your turnaround, and you could turn it around right now. So I turn to you and I appeal to you, stand up and go to those people.
You know what, do you not think perhaps, we tend to mollycoddle our children, we become overprotective, and as a result we find that we have children that grow up to be emasculated, they cannot assert themselves and whatnot. There should be some kind of balance, isn't it? I think there's a big difference between loving your child and being indulgent. Anis,
one key word that Uncle Abdul brought up that I think is one of the key factors in why people become bullies is parents. You see, often children from young look up to their parents and see, no, the father is abusing the mother, or vice versa. And they grow up thinking that, no, that's okay, that's how the world is. So they go to school, they'll abuse the children around them. They even go to abusing women because that's what they see at home. And that's where they get their affirm that they can do what they want because they've seen it from young in their own households.
You see, my beloved brothers and sisters, the issue of bullying, as we said, is a very serious issue, a sensitive issue, something that can drive kids to contemplate suicide, where they feel useless, worthless, because by nature we are social beings, we are gregarious beings, we want to love and we want to be loved. Our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, there is no good in him who neither befriends or is befriended. So when your child feels isolated, both at home and at school, he's living a world of pain, a vicious cycle, a world of depression and sadness. So my beloved brothers and sisters, you have an opportunity of reaffirming your child, reconnecting with your child, spending time with your child. Make him or her independent but dependable. Empower them with the right kind of attitudes. And they must know, no matter what you go through in life, the home is a sanctuary. You can reveal what goes on in your life. So we look forward to your feedback, and thank you so much. And I must say that this is Ntando's book. It's a lovely, lovely book. I would recommend that for every household. I read it a few minutes ago. Very, very inspirational, beautiful stories, uplifting. Ntando, the world is your oyster. Anis, sitting here with so much of composure, very articulate. I believe in you. Abdul, continue to do your sterling work. This is Idris Kamisa saying, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And I like it.